Well, thanks for joining us today for our second part of the security webinar series brought to you by NIC Services. My name is Michelle O'Reilly. I'm a Business Development Manager here, and I will be leading today's presentation. Other folks assisting with our webinar series include Senior Business Development Manager Maria Cuevas, Business Development Manager Jenna Coates, and President Mukesh Patel. Today I'll go through security and its role in payment processing. We will talk further about equipment options, PCI DSS, and NACHA. And at the end, I'll open up the channel for questions and comments. So during last month's webinar, Maria introduced us to security. She broke it down into simple terms so we're easily able to understand what happens to our payment information once a payment is processed. If you missed it and you'd like to access it, please visit our YouTube channel or reach out to us after today's presentation and we can send you the direct link. Before I start today, I'm going to give you actually a brief overview about what we do and who we are. NIC Services is a subsidiary of NIC, the leader of digital government solutions, and we offer full lifecycle transaction management solution, which includes gateway and merchant services, plus extensive financial reporting and funds disbursement. And all of this is hosted at the cloud at our PCI DSS Level 1 data center. In 2016, we securely processed over $26 billion on behalf of government partners. And our parent company, NIC, is actually celebrating 25 years. Its first self-funded contract was with the state of Kansas in 1992. It's the nation's premier provider of innovative digital government solutions and secure payment processing, which help make government interactions more accessible for everyone through technology. And the family of NIC companies have developed a library of more than 13,000 digital government services for more than 5,500 federal, state, and local government agencies. Among these is Gov2Go, and that's actually a digital government personal assistant. So in the most simplest of terms, security ensures that your information is protected from threats. So there are a number of different ways to make sure your information is secure. And NIC's commitment to security is unparalleled. Our security program includes a comprehensive suite of information security solutions to support the government operations of every partner. And our proven approach integrates security assessment, monitoring, and management to deliver best-in-class security solutions. We are PCI DSS certified as a Level 1 certified service provider. And as Maria explained last month, that means that we process over 6 million transactions per year and that a qualified security assessor completes an annual report on compliance and an attestation of compliance. The cost of being a Level 1 service provider is over $50,000 a year. And there are actually 4 levels of compliance and each has their respective costs. So the nice thing about it is that NIC, we take care of all that cost and the hassle for you. So in addition, NIC is listed as a PCI compliant provider on Visa's Global Registry of Service Providers. We are a SSAE 16 certified solution. We're fully compliant with federal, state, local, and industry standards, and we meet all Sarbanes-Oxley compliance requirements. We're also a participating organization of the Payment Card Industry Security Standards Council. So data encryption of financial information is critical to preventing identity theft. All payment data in transit is actually encrypted with secure socket layer technology using 2048-bit keys, and stored sensitive account information is further encrypted using AES 256 algorithm and RSA 1024-bit keys. The data is actually stored for the shortest amount of time required by the business process to complete the transaction, and at no time is sensitive authentication data stored like CVV or PIN codes. And then all TPE data, with the exception of sensor data, is actually retained on the disk and purged every 30 to 90 days. So introduce the various equipment we have available, but today we're actually going to talk about the PCI compliant devices since they're applicable to today's presentation. The first option here is Magnatech Dynapad, and it connects through the USB drive and reads the cards using the magnetic strip. It has bidirectional and a long swipe path, and it's designed to plug and play like a keyboard. The next device is the EMV device, and it's from First Data, and it's called the FD40. So basically with this device, you can dip your card in or you can swipe your card in order to process a transaction. And basically an EMV is a chip-enabled card, and it's embedded with a microcomputer chip. Some transactions may require the entry of a PIN to complete the transaction. So if you want any additional information about these devices, or you'd like to know some pricing information, please contact your state portal team or reach out to one of us and we'll get you connected with who you need to talk to discuss that. So PCI DSS stands for Payment Card Industry Data Security Standards. Now, we've talked about this in depth during previous webinars, so today I'm going to talk more about the security standards. The infographic depicts the various topics we will talk about, and if you'd like more high-level information that we've previously discussed, again, please visit our YouTube channel. So in the simplest of terms, PCI DSS ensures that your credit cards are processed securely. It has the following goals. One is to build and maintain a secure network, and this can be accomplished by installing and maintaining a firewall configuration and not using vendor-supplied defaults for system passwords and other security perimeters. Another would be to protect cardholder data, and this can be done by encrypting the transmission of cardholder data across open public networks. The third would be to maintain a vulnerability program, and this is done by using and regularly updating antivirus software or programs and developing and maintaining secure systems and applications. The fourth would be to implement strong access control measures. So basically what that means is you would restrict access to cardholder data by a business need-to-know basis and assign a unique ID to each person with computer access. And then obviously restricting physical access to cardholder data. The fifth would be to regularly monitor and test your network, and tracking and monitoring all access to network resources and cardholder data can be done by regularly testing your security systems and processes. The sixth would be to maintain an information security policy, and that just basically means having a written policy available to everyone that addresses the information security for employees and contractors. So PIN transaction security, and which is the acronym is PTS, are basically devices used by merchants at the point of sale for capturing payment card data and validating approval of its use for a transaction. And we talked about those two devices that we have available. So in order to comply with this, you need to actually buy and use only approved PIN entry devices at your point of sale, and buy and use only validated payment software systems or websites, shopping carts. Do not store any sensitive cardholder data in computers or on paper, and use a firewall for all your networks and PCs. Also, make sure your wireless router is password protected and uses encryption, and use strong passwords. Make sure you change all your default passwords, and then regularly check PIN entry devices just to make sure that nobody has messed with the integrity of them by installing rogue software or skimming devices. Last would be to teach your employees about security and protecting the cardholder data, and then obviously following PCI data security standards. So there are rules for software vendors. While these rules are not necessarily applicable to your business process, they are important to note to make you aware that there is a level of compliancy. So make sure that your service provider is compliant. If not, it could result in service interruption, fines, and substantial fees. So I'm going to start talking about NACHA. So NACHA is an acronym that stands for National Automated Clearinghouse Association. It basically administers and facilitates private sector operating rules for ACH payments, which defines the roles and responsibility of financial institutions and other ACH network participants. If you would like more specific information, please refer to our previous webinar. Today we're actually just going to talk about the security of these ACH payments. So NACHA requires that all participants in the ACH process implement processes, procedures, and controls to protect sensitive ACH data, and to put access controls in place to actually safeguard protected information. ACH rules define that secure, protected information as non-public personal information, including financial information of a person used to create or contained within an entry and any related addenda record. So the definition not only covers financial information, but also includes sensitive non-financial information such as Social Security numbers, driver's license numbers, and or personal information that might be collected in order to process the transaction. Another thing is to make sure that there is strong cryptography, which means that there's a secure transmission. And this is done by using encryption technology to transmit account and routing numbers over the internet. Next would be routing number validation. And this can be done by using a simple algorithmic check that determines whether the routing number is actually in the correct format, or you can check the routing number against a database of valid routing numbers. You can also identify verification, and what that means is that you want to actually authenticate who is logged in via user ID, password, or a known IP address. And then you want to check on fraud detection. And so the way to do that is to basically make sure that there's no duplicate transactions by monitoring the page. You also want to check for suspicious activities, such as a hacker trying to use a payment form to test multiple stolen account numbers in order to identify valid ones. Or you can use you can implement a monitoring algorithm designed to specifically identify fraudulent transactions using patterns. You also want to implement a strong security policy, and that's just meaning that you have a written security policy that governs the processes, procedures, and systems related to this protected information, and make it accessible to all. So to conclude, we're going to talk about a couple of market updates. Vantiv announced that it purchased the payment processing firm WorldPay. The acquisition actually cost $12.1 billion, and Vantiv was actually a U.S. competitor to the UK-based WorldPay. So WorldPay obviously benefits from this deal as it gives the company a foothold in the U.S. where it hasn't really been able to make much of an impact in the past. It also sees shareholders owning 43% of the newly merged company. The next market update is Microsoft actually unveiled technology to speed up blockchain and its adoption. So blockchain, while it's still in its infancy, could revolutionize the way that payments are handled. Jenna talked about blockchain technology. She actually completed a fantastic presentation about that if you'd like more detailed information about how that process works. Microsoft developed this system called COCO Framework, and basically this new system connects different blockchain networks to solve some of the issues that have slowed down adoption, which include the speed and then obviously the privacy concern. COCO actually stands for Confidential Consortium, and it's supposed to be ready and made open source by 2018. Microsoft has touted that it's actually supposed to make it roughly 100 times faster. So that actually concludes today's webinar. I'm going to unmute the line to give you an opportunity to ask any questions.
The conference has been unmuted. The conference has been muted.
Okay, it doesn't appear that we have anybody with any questions today. So thanks again for tuning in to our webinar. Please join us again next month for our continuation of the security series. It's actually slated for Wednesday, September 20th at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. We're actually going to have special guests present. Scott Summerholder, VP of Portal Operations, and Rodney Cottle, Director of Information Security. These two are going to talk about the state of security and risk management, and I encourage you to tune into that. Should be very informative. Thank you.